go, but yeah, we can see it.
Yep. Yeah, so good evening, everybody. So my name is Abdulmalik Ibrahim, and um, just a quick one about me. Yeah, so my name is Abdulmalik Ibrahim. I completed my MSc in software engineering at Heriot Ford, along with the PTDF intakes there. I currently work as a senior DevOps engineer at ENODA. And before this, have worked as a DevOps engineer, a cloud engineer, a blockchain engineer, a platform engineer, database engineer across multiple organizations spanning financial technologies and ISP industry, which I've had uh, over 8 years of experience working in those industries right about now. Yeah. So, to be honest, I think Sophia and Lily has spoken much about everything, which is basically, to be honest, I think I was even taking notes on some of the things they were saying because I think if I had known some of these things, maybe it would have been easier for me and some of in my own approach to doing some of these things. So, although I'll still speak about my own journey, so yeah, I'll talk about my journey. So, like the first said, we all know at this point that the degree is only part of the journey. The market itself is very competitive, and yeah, you're struggling with um, hundreds, if not thousands, of people who are making the same applications um, every day. So it's just like when you go on LinkedIn and you click on apply, you still see the number of applicants that have applied to a job. So three things that set you apart in most of these things is how do you demonstrate your skills, like show what you can do. How do you communicate your value? How do you communicate you? People think that communication comes from just what you say. It's not what you say. Your CV stands for you where you don't speak yourself. So your CV communicates your value where you are not there in the room. Your LinkedIn as well, your profile speaks about your value when you're not there as well. And how do you also position yourself? Do you stand out as you know what you're doing in the field you are representing? So I would speak about the five, basically the five things that make the difference for me, basically in my own journey. So to be honest, number one is actually the most important part, which I would say it's take your LinkedIn profile seriously. So unlike so like I said, I had over 8 years of experience. So unlike joining networking groups and all that, I actually took optimizing my LinkedIn very seriously. So optimizing my LinkedIn very seriously includes current projects I'm working on, certifications, a professional photo as well. Actually, good headline stating what you do. So basically, if you do multiple things, if you're in software engineering, you're a database engineer, you're also in blockchain, have those keywords there as well, because it just attracts to your headline, but people reach through it. So I recommend doing that, getting recommendations from your previous workers, people you've worked with, lecturers, colleagues, anybody at all that you've worked with in a professional setting or who can vouch for you as well. I remember sending a couple to a couple of colleagues, friends, and yeah, I've worked with on, if not even private work, as well as yeah, also to like taking your LinkedIn serious as well. Also subscribing for the premium because the premium as well enables you to message recruiters directly and also create your own openings. So basically, it creates your own openings for roles. So one thing I can see is most organizations, especially in the UK, I would say is not to quote me and any of this is it's more or less on a referral basis too. The referral system here works that somebody refers you in or somebody gets you in. So a good example is most of the applications I have made. Yeah, you have to be consistent in it, but then again, recruiters reach out to you on a constant basis, and from there you get you get recruiters who reach out to you. Then from there you can by taking your LinkedIn profile seriously, like you get recruiters that reach out to you basically. Yeah. I lost my train of thought there. That's okay. So yeah, the second part is tailoring your CV. I guess they've all spoken about it. Yeah, so one generic CV doesn't work. So what I've had to do over time is I've had various versions of my CV. I've had the DevOps version, I've had the cloud version, I've had my software engineering version, I've had the one for platform engineering, I've had the one for database. As much as possible, I still tailor this as well to meet the job specs before applying. I mirror these keywords, and in the same line of um, what you've done in those roles and things around, and you'll see from the job description, they tell you exactly what probably tools you're working with, systems they have on ground, and the processes they have, as well as much as possible. You want to also show this inside your CVs as well. So don't allow the recruiters also see like struggle to see that you are not qualified for it. Some of the key points I will also make is like they've also said, get your CV reviewed by people. So what I've also tried as much as possible is I've had recruiters actually, the recruiters themselves, the people that reach out via LinkedIn also review the CVs and you're like, oh, does it meet the requirement? Does it meet? As much as possible, they tell you, oh, what and what you need to change, and that's the truth too. You could also just ask. Because some people don't feel like they need to ask, so you could just ask, oh, it doesn't meet it as well. So they can tell you what and what you need to cover in and what you need to change. Some are very nice actually. They tell you these things. So yeah, I've yeah, I've been able to make those observations and that. So another thing else is applying at skill. So I've treated job search as a full-time job in itself because yeah, you need to also apply at skill. So multiple applications every single day, LinkedIn, career pages, graduate schemes, agencies, networks. More importantly, minus just even LinkedIn, so I can tell you a process flow I do for me. So I apply for the job on LinkedIn. If it's an easy apply, after I'm done with it, I go to the company because most of the companies have a career page. I go on the career page, I look for the same job, I still apply there. I still go through the struggle of going through the process. Like be intentional about the application you are doing. Be intentional about it. So most of the time you have to take it as a full-time job in itself. You need to be consistent, you need to be committed to it. Because at the end of the day, all you need is all you honestly need is just 1 year. So in spite of the notes, you just have to keep on doing this. So mine is just the LinkedIn. I also go into the company's page, I research the company, I do the application on the company's page as well. So at the end of the day, maybe in a day, just 10, 15, but intentional applications, they matter a lot. Your CVs are written down to match the job specs. You've written a well-tailored cover letter. You filled in the application on time and promptly. So yeah, those are some of the few things that I said also worked for me. So another thing again is let's say bringing visibility to yourself. So many of my interviews came from recruiter reaching out, basically not even my applications that I've done. And I not to actually discourage you and not doing those applications because those doing the applications in itself even gives you visibility because when you apply to companies on LinkedIn, you get to follow the pages, you get to also follow what they are doing, make a comment, do something, show your visibility, show action. So it is also going to improve your visibility in itself because you're actually doing something, not just even the application in itself also gives you that visibility. So I've had a lot, so many of my interviews actually came from recruiters reaching out. Even where I am currently came from recruiters reaching out to you. And yeah, they just tell you, oh, they've seen your profile on LinkedIn. They feel that, oh, this job description will match what they send you that this job description would match what they've seen on your profile. They like what they see. Please send your CV over. You enter that negotiation and send your CV over. Then yeah, it picks up from there. So most of them, so you can connect as well with professionals in your field, even just connecting with people Not that you even have to say anything, makes their all connections have a visibility to you as well. So it's just like a network of visibilities in itself, if I should say the least. So the most important thing is you have to be visible. You have to show your presence. And yeah, the fifth part would be like I would say it's never stop learning, keep building projects, any certification, improve your visibility. So to cap it all, I would give my entire interview experience so far on multiple interviews. At the time I was interviewing for Okta. They had reached out to me on LinkedIn. I'd applied, and yeah. So even during the application process, I had a friend that also did the application who did a direct application on their portal. But this was a recruiter directly reaching out to me. So I didn't even know that Okta, I think they did. It told me they did like a test, but because the recruiter reached out to me, so it was direct to the interview. So it was like a four-stage panel interview. So I had gone through the process, each of the process, irrespective of during the entire interview process, pick up, learn, irrespective of how they went, I was able to learn where my shortfalls were in how you answer questions using the STAR approach is also important. Do not be afraid to tell the interviewers that you need to pause, you need to take a moment to think about even the answer you want to see. Do not be afraid to communicate how anything at all. It's a communication. The interview is also a communication. If you also need to write something down, in most cases, also take a pen and paper, write it down. Like, okay, these are things you also want to go back and review. As much as possible, you yourself, you could also make a recording of the interview. You could also tell them you want to make a recording of the interview. It shows your own intention to grow, your own intention to get better at what you do. So I think I did the three stages, even at the last stage. So I made recordings of this. I shared with a friend who told me where my shortcomings were. Therefore, where I currently work with, they reached out to me again through LinkedIn, but this was an in-person interview. So I've had a couple of interviews coming down the line. I would say I was already good with because one thing is to know what you do, and another thing is to be able to communicate that same value that this person knows what he does, like he knows his stuff basically. So yeah, this was an in-person interview. I came in and yeah, it was to the first interview was like a design phase. So one thing I would say is for um for experienced hire roles, most of the problems you'll be given, I think for a couple of ones I've actually had the luck for interviewing, I would say is most of the problems you'll be given are problems that the team is currently facing. So they are not looking for your acceptance of the problem itself as well. They're also looking at what do you think about the problem itself? Like, how do you think you can either improve on it? How do you think you can either, if you have a counterbalance to a better solution, you have not also researched on, how do you think you can provide that solution? Basically, it's a problem. So they need to know your own thoughts around it. So also coming in from the angle of supporting the problem or attacking the problem is not still a bad thing. So in this interview, I was told to design a system. They gave me the current system they were working with, and to be honest, I've used it. It's a painful system, very painful to use. So even in the interview, it was supposed to be like a 30 minutes interview, but I spent like I think like 30 minutes telling them the problems they would experience with it. And funny enough, they were already experiencing those same problems. And even from the interview, we got laughing about it, and we're like, oh. I ended up providing a solution. I told them, oh, look at this other place. It's better, it's stable, it's faster. I gave them reasons they should consider it. So we had a good chat the first interview. The second interview was basically almost the same thing to what which was just to come around and still make a presentation of the system I discussed, which was what they still wanted. So I made the discussion, I made the presentation, I came for it. To to be frank, as I said, I came in on board. So after that, I got the offer, I joined the company. But I think that took like a couple of months in between. So in joining the company, I found out that my recommendation during the interview was taken. So basically, they've pivoted back to the system I already spoke about. And I was like, yeah, it works. I've also had the opportunity of doing for the Scottish Parliament as well, for their systems as well. So yeah, they take these recommendations you speak about. So an interview, when you go to an interview, it's a communication. They want to still know, do you know your stuff? Can you still tell us? So not just you, and most of the time you're also speaking to the team that you would work with. So it's not just you that you think it's in that hot seat because it's really not a hot seat, it's just a communication. So they need to know, do you know your stuff? Can you defend your stuff? And if it's worthwhile, they're always willing to also learn from you as well. So do not be afraid to show your value and yeah, communicate that value. So my biggest takeaway from this is yeah, build a strong LinkedIn profile, tailor your CV to each role, apply consistently and at scale, make yourself visible to recruiters and never stop learning. Never stop learning because persistency compounds. So yeah, never stop learning. Persistency compounds. Getting a yeah, and so yeah, thank you very much. Yeah,
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdulmalik Ibrahim, for such a very detailed presentation. Major highlights that stood out for me. Again, LinkedIn optimization and having an active presence gets to come up again. And you talked about the referral system, which is very, very important. Recommendations and referral actually hold a lot of water in this environment. And then he also made mention of noting your haves and have nots and taking lessons from interviews. Feedbacks being very, very important. And not just feedback from the interviewing organizations, but you being able to sit down and develop your own system of evaluating yourself as that against whatever criteria they may have for employing you or not employing you. Have the value, show and communicate that value. And somewhere along the line, you also notice he talks quite a lot about having certifications. So please keep learning, as he said, and always show those learnings when the opportunity presents itself. Thank you very much, Mr. Abdulmalik Ibrahim.